So alligator hunting is a very safe recreational opportunity that the MDWFP has provided for Mississippi's alligator hunters. The most dangerous part about alligator hunting is probably actually being out on the waterways, especially being on the waterways at night. Most people will have a vessel loaded at or near capacity, and operating a vessel on the waters amongst all the underwater structures, navigating channels, and the vegetation, especially during the dark, is the most dangerous aspect of alligator hunting. Today we want to spend some time talking with you about boating safety and the many boating regulations that you need to be aware of at any time you're on the waterways of Mississippi. Today we got Captain Tracy Tullos, who's going to spend some time talking to you specifically about many of the boating regulations.
Prior to launching on the waterways of the state of Mississippi, if you're going to be in a motorboat, you need to have your boat registered, and the registration needs to be displayed in a manner similar as what you see here on the bow of this vessel. Your letters and numbers need to be 3-inch high block letters. They need to read from left to right, need to have an equivalent space or hyphen, and the validation decal must be placed within 6 inches of the registration numbers. The next thing we need to talk about is personal flotation devices, or PFDs. Before you get underway, you need to make sure that you have a personal flotation device for each person that is on board your vessel. I'd like to talk a few minutes about the specific types of personal flotation devices and what those specific types offer you as far as flotation. The best flotation device that you can have on board for each person is a Type 2 PFD, similar to what I'm holding here in my hands. This is the only type PFD that will right you face up if you fall into the water. One of the most important things that you need to look and consider is that each PFD has a U.S. Coast Guard approved label, similar to this label that I'm showing you here on this Type 2. The next type PFD that you may have on board is called a Type 3 PFD, and it's similar to a ski vest or a fishing vest as most commonly seen. Automatic inflatable PFDs are another choice that you could use. They could be labeled by the U.S. Coast Guard as a Type 3 or a Type 5. If this is labeled as a Type 5, it must be worn by one of the occupants to be legal on board your vessel. The next PFD you must have on board is a Type 4 throwable device. This is required for all vessels 16 feet in length or longer. And it is in addition to any of the wearable type PFDs that you'll carry on board for each passenger that you have. And remember, each PFD must be the proper size for the intended wearer, must be readily accessible, and must be in good serviceable condition. The next item that we'd like to discuss is the vessel's capacity plate, and it is located at or near the operator station. The capacity plate indicates the maximum number of people that you can have on board, or the maximum amount of weight allowed to have on board a vessel. One of the most important things to remember about the capacity plate and a vessel and alligator hunting is you're going to have a lot of people on board your vessel. And you need to take into consideration the fact that if you harvest an alligator, you may actually exceed that vessel's capacity plate. In order to keep from exceeding the capacity plate, you may want to have extra vessels in your hunting party so that you can disperse the people and the gear and the alligator, if you're successful, across those vessels. The next topic we need to discuss are navigation lights at night. You must display an all-around white light on the stern of your vessel anytime your boat is underway. Also, you need to display a combination bow light similar to what you see here in my hand. Those can be a temporary style mounted on a C-clamp or permanently installed on your vessel. These navigation lights must be displayed at all hours of the night, from sunrise to sunset, regardless of what other lights that you are displaying while you're in the process of alligator hunting. Another important safety aspect that we need to talk about are fire extinguishers. There's always a possibility that you could have an onboard fire aboard your vessel when you're engaged in alligator hunting. For that reason, Mississippi law requires that you have a U.S. Coast Guard approved fire extinguisher on board your vessel if you have permanently attached fuel tanks. All motorized vessels operating on Mississippi public waterways must be registered with the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks or any other state prior to operating on our waterways. Also be aware that your boat registration card must be available and on board for inspection if requested by a law enforcement officer. Another very important safety aspect of alligator hunting on Mississippi public waterways is our zero tolerance law for the possession or consumption of alcohol. No person on board a vessel may be under the influence or be in possession of alcohol while engaged in a public water alligator hunt. If you are stopped and encountered by an officer and you are under the influence of alcohol or have possession of alcohol on board your vessel, your hunt will be terminated and you will be asked to leave the public waterway and citations may be issued. Any person born after June 30th, 1980 must have completed a boating education course before they can operate a vessel on Mississippi public waterways. Also, any person under the age of 12 must be accompanied by a person 21 years or older on board that vessel in order to operate the boat. Any person needing to be certified in boating education can take our course online at our website, mdwfp.com.